Hello, my name is Andrew Brown, and my academic journal is about how COVID affects the sustainable agriculture. Around last April, I got my first summer job working for a landscape business. I was excited for what I was going to learn because my major is sustainable agriculture. Working with the irrigation crew helped me put a foothold into the major that I wanted to learn about. I was glad to get field experience in something I would be interested in the future. It has also started to change quickly because of the virus. That never stopped my interest in learning more about my major and other ways to keep up with things that impact the environment. It also showed me things that I could do to keep the environment healthy through this pandemic. The definition of sustainable agriculture is either farming or the care of plants in long lasting ways. This helps people learn how to maintain and keep producing plants and food sources for our future generations. This ensures that people will be getting the sustainable nutrients and vitamins that are needed daily. Helping the environment stay safe is an effective way the earth to stay healthy. And this is in turn will help the farms produce stay in business. Without the ecosystem, it is impossible to grow nutrients foods we need to stay alive. Sustainable agriculture has three main goals to accomplish to be effective in the world. Those three main goals are to have the environment healthy, to make economic profitability, and social equity. In other words, that means we need to have a healthy living environment, we need to be able to make money off the produce from healthy land. There also needs to be fairness and opportunity for people to have work in this field. The amount of fresh produce and meats are brought into grocery stores or other types of markets through farms and plantations. The use of agriculture uses approximately 70% of the world's fresh water. COVID affects many stores and markets in America due to many people stocking up on food. That puts stress on the local farms to increase needs for extra produce. That made the farm shoot up in price of their own produce because of the scarcity. And this turn makes the grocery stores increase their prices to keep up with the economy. The managers and farms who deal with the water supply and irrigation are under tremendous amounts of pressure to produce more food and to keep sustaining the food outcome in farms for the extra need of produce around the country while trying to adapt to the climate and changing seasons in the area. One of the most challenging things that farmers face with a constant farming and produce of goods to keep the soil healthy and have enough constant nutrients in the soil to be able to keep growing plants due to the need of extra food. To help this matter, the Pacific Institute is researching new ways and strategies to improve water management to ensure ongoing produce and food production systems for the public. This ensures the water and food supply will remain at a safe rate, and our future generations can learn from this and improve for the better life in the future. The livestock is going to be better in the future this year because of the Phase 1 trade deal with China. This means that the livestock coming to America and other countries will be more carefully watched and hopefully better taken care of than in the past. The healthier livestock is the better chance that there will be more reproduction and more livestock in the future. The biggest problem COVID has created in sustainable agriculture is to maintain the supply and demand of produce and other foods. The food shortages is due to the labor shortages, so people are not working in farms to produce what is necessary for our world today. That also puts strains on farm incomes so that they can stay in production for the future. If they do not have enough workers, there will be not enough produce or food sources. The smaller farms will not make enough money in order to keep competing with bigger farms or bigger corporations. The loss of money from smaller farms also mixes in with the problems outside of the farms itself, like machinery production and other things that are needed to keep the farm running. COVID is also restricting the movement of the product and the process and handling of all the crops. That handling and shipping of crops can also relate to the pesticide industry, and that is sharply declining in the market. Once the virus hit the world, pesticide industry had to shut down. Then they resumed gradually after the production of plants were no longer shut down. The production of pesticides started to increase, and this makes the pesticides have a lower price because of the increased market. This in turn makes the price of seeds and other agricultural products go up in price because of the scarcity. With all the other countries closing up their borders and slowing down transportation of seeds, this makes it harder to acquire seeds, which in turn make it a lot tougher to keep up with supply and demand that way. The impact on labor and shipping and processing products can also be a problem. The demand for delivery is getting more complex, and there's a lot more rules and guidelines of COVID safety. One of the biggest impacts of shipping industries is the long lasting of how the companies now have to ship large amounts of food and produce. These companies are now reducing into smaller food packages to ship. This makes it more difficult with the increased supply of demand for different businesses. To sum up the difficulties with COVID and sustainable agriculture is the farms and other big industries are suffering because of the global pandemic. My interest in sustainable agriculture started when I was part of the irrigation crew right before the virus hit the world. I was interested in seeing the effects on farms around the world and what are the possible long-term effects. The price of pesticides is lowering because of more manufacturing, which has caused the farming industry to have less seeds and sources to grow more produce. The shipping is more complicated because of the increased deliveries with smaller packages. That cuts in of the income of the farms and smaller farm stands. These small businesses will have a great difficulty keeping afloat in this difficult time. These are some ways COVID affected sustainable agriculture.